Hey there,
Yeah.
welcome. You just interrupted me.
Oh, sorry.
I was stuck on Red Bull and mushroom tea. My God, I was just like,
Red Bull and mushroom
Lord
coffee.
have
You could be the Witcher.
All right, waiting on you, Liza.
Which?
Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California.
It's indeed sunny.
It qualified. Hey everyone, this is Liza, and I'm back. You may not have known I was gone, but that's why I got to play one of my favorite episodes last week. It was Jocelyn Snow back to back. Since she just got married and moved away, thought that would be nice to revisit that. Let's see who is here in the studio with me. By my right, always ready to go and with his mound of cough drops, it's Stumpy John.
What's up, everybody? You know what? It's Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for all of you.
I did not feel that was authentic.
It's very authentic. Extremely.
Yeah, still not. Still not.
It's
still not
giving thanks,
Yes.
as the young people would say.
Well, and there is an ick going around. Looks like John might have it. I definitely have it. So if you hear the cough,
I know
sorry.
you guys got the clap
No,
going over there.
it's the cats for me. It's always the cats, yeah.
Well, also, unfortunately, Miss Emma is sick, so
It's not true.
needed
Hello, darling.
big
How you doing?
shoes to fill hers. And of course, we brought in the big man himself. It's Cat.
Wow. Kitty.
Going around the room, the first one to, I think, bring some sense to everything here. It's Neil.
Oh, that's scary if you think I bring sense. Hey there, moto people.
On paper, you seem to be the most normal. That's what I'll say. But of course, not on paper, but the one who probably is the most normal. The foundation of everything.
What?
Who what? Who be throwing canned hams at me?
Exactly. Speaking
It's
of things.
Naked Jim.
Hey, be cool, be kind, bring firewood. And shout out to Miss Emma. We were down at the Carmel Saddle and Trail Club last night for a hootenanny.
Oh, you're the one who made her sick.
A hootenanny with
Wait, did you get a saddle on her?
Oh, well, there was some crops and bits happening. But anyway, we were down there seeing Stunt Misfit. Mike Beck was playing a nice little acoustic show down there with all the cowboys. And it was great because Mike grew up down there and worked their horse ranches back there and had all the stories from back in the days.
Define hoedown.
Similar to hootenanny, but there's
Hootenanny,
hoes.
what's the difference between a hootenanny and a hoedown?
Hoedown,
music.
there's dancing.
Oh.
And hose.
And boot scooting.
Boots good.
Okay,
The dog does that on the couch sometimes.
All right. And joining us from sunny Velveeta, Oregon, it's Bagel.
Hey, definitely not sunny.
I'm digging the hat, Bagel. Digging the hat.
Oh, thank you.
The shirt's even better.
Oh, thank you very
Scotalites.
much.
The Scotalites? Oh, nice.
Yes.
Remember, Bagel, we can make it whatever we want. You just have to sell it.
Yeah, I've started
It's
waving
sunny.
at scooters now. Okay, I just
But
want you to know I've started waving at scooters now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
That's much appreciated.
Yes.
Well, we did have a lovely weekend last week and went for a fantastic ride on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which bike did you take?
I took the Heinkel.
As you do at any proper scooter rally.
Yes, as one should.
As one should. Exactly. I love it. You're just going to keep that thing going forever, aren't you?
Absolutely.
It keeps
Never
him
gonna sell
going, Liza. It keeps him going.
Oh, you are
It's,
right.
it's a symbiotic relationship.
Well, so I've been doing some traveling lately, and something I got to do a couple of weeks ago was go to the Peterson Museum down in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, you and I have been there.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. It's a gem.
Yeah, I took Louisa, who was still with me when we were traveling.
Mhm.
And at first she's like, a car museum? And we've all been to car museums, and they're fine if you want to kill some time on a rainy day. This is not your normal car museum.
Well, it's a car art gallery,
It is.
right? I mean, we did the podcast on it, but well, not to steal your thunder, but when you pull up, you can just tell it's something different with the wavy exterior, and I mean, it speaks to art as soon as you kind of lay eyes on it.
Building is standalone architecture, but one thing I love about them is that they are very inclusive of motorcycles, and they always have sections with motorcycles, and they had board track racers, and they had electric. Oh, you would have liked it, Bagels. They had some old electric scooters I've never seen.
Oh, wow.
But one that I think Kat is gonna like. If
Tease me.
If Aston Martin was to design a motorcycle, which apparently
all of a sudden I think they should.
They did in 2021. What would it look like? And
something James Bond would ride.
What do you think, Kat?
Well, it's very Aston because it's so sexy. The aerodynamics of it are just sublime, but I'm wondering what the dash looks like, because that's where Aston is so defined. It's the gentleman's car. It's so refined and finished.
Looks like it's like a bullet train.
Yeah.
Shrunk into a spaceship.
It's a V4?
It looks like that. It looks like
to be something, yeah.
I got to check that out.
It's definitely a brilliant concept.
Looks a little bit like the Arch, doesn't it?
I'm wondering where they got the engine from. Maybe they just took one of their V engines.
Was it kind of a one-off thing to have fun, or did they make like a 10 or 20 of them?
I don't know, because remember when we were there, we saw a Porsche one. So I think that they may make prototypes, right?
Yeah, is this a turbocharge in the middle?
Oh, God, no.
That would make sense.
It looks like it.
120 grand, you can find out.
You do not want a turbocharger on a motorcycle unless it's dual
Anyway,
stage.
that was a really cool. As were just all the cars. They had just, a lot of the old, very old motorcycles. They had a display of board trackers. I like the Sears.
Oh,
Then you could buy a motorcycle.
Well, like
Sears.
the one that hangs in SFMC's
I saw
clubhouse.
Like the Curtis.
There was one of those at the Quail. A Sears?
A Sears?
A Sears Roebuck.
Oh,
yeah.
really? And some weird sidecar things.
Yeah, no, I've seen those in
I don't
Switzerland.
know how to describe this, but it's like if you took
Does that have
well,
hubs?
I don't even know what that front steering is.
Yeah,
like.
hub-
the Swiss
hub steering.
levies. You see those in the Swiss Alps. They're very common. I don't know why the Swiss are obsessed with those type of, but yes, it's a sidecar with steering like a car in front, but it's only one wheel and it uses a car tire. Very special. And boy, if you were the passenger, if you were the monkey, strap yourselves in, love.
There's a interesting scooter. Bagel, you may want to look this up. It's a 2024 Still Ride, STILRIDE prototype.
Huh. Okay.
And then in
Steel, like the steel, like the chainsaws?
I'll send you a picture, Bagel. Just interesting electric prototypes. A thing called an infinite machine, and that comes with a trailer. I don't know, like it's like a stainless steel electric scooter with a tow behind trailer. It's so hard to.
So was that the theme they were curating with the scooters? Was electric or throughout history? Because
no,
they always have a theme, right?
They had electric cars.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was an electric.
There was an electric thing, and so they
The
had,
electric car predates the internal combustion engine.
Yeah. And then of course they had a nice display of just some very sexy bikes up on a wall, one of which is the Vetter.
Yeah, is that the Hurricane?
Yeah.
I can only see from here.
Oh, the Triumph?
The Mystery Machine.
Yeah, the mystery X75, whatever.
Or is it Mystery
I might be
Ship? Now,
yes.
I'm going to pass this one around. John, can you describe what you were looking at?
It looks groovy. I'll say that. It looks like a 3-wheel, 2 in the back, 1 in the front. Called a Crouser. It's 2 up. It almost looks like a motorcycle and a spider had sex, and this is what came out. Right?
Pass it around. All right. Can you add to the description here, Kat?
Oh my God, it looks like something out of Battlestar Galactica.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're getting a little bit closer.
Yeah,
Because it's a monobody, isn't it?
But a Krauzer would be it sounds like it's German, so Krauzer. So Krauzer, but it doesn't look entirely German. It looks like there was some Frenchness involved.
To me, it looks like if you took the motorcycle and the sidecar, but put them all in one body.
Yeah, that's very 80s. It doesn't get much more 80s than that.
Yeah.
Oh
I think Battlestar Galactica.
what was-
we would say
or Buck Rogers or something.
right.
Yeah, on Saturday mornings
Buck
when we were
Rogers.
eating our corn puffs, that thing would come on television.
Oh, where do I get my because it looks like your action figures would fit in there just fine.
But the thing I love about the Peterson is they get movie bikes and they get prototypes and they get all sorts of technology. But the other thing that was cool is I visited the Griffith Observatory. Y'all know about that?
I swear I kissed
And there
my
was-
wife
I've
for
heard
the
of it,
first
never
time.
been there.
Oh my. And there was a fleet of cop bikes there. So of course I had to start looking, and can you see what looks different from the rest of them?
It looks different. One's a GS.
They had a couple GSs.
I've never seen GS cop bikes before.
BMW, like GS 1350 police bikes.
That's cool.
Yeah, you see the RTs a lot, right?
And
Yeah.
so I was standing there and I saw some of the cops like, whose is this? Like calling him over. And the other thing I thought was interesting is that the GS cops wore the climb adventure helmets,
Oh,
as
okay.
opposed to the modular helmets that all the other BMW riders, like the RT bikes, were. And I asked him, like, what's up with this? He goes, oh yeah, we use it to go like up the canyons and stuff.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
They're using like legit GSs. And I
Yeah,
thought that was
yeah.
so cool. I've not
Yeah.
seen GS police bikes.
Mm-mm.
So it's always fun when you see some different stuff. What have you guys been up to since I last saw you? You saw something better come up on something too,
Oh, yeah.
didn't you?
Well, I think Vetter was on the cover of the MA magazine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so he was on the cover. Yeah, just I think I
Yeah.
didn't read the article, but yeah, just cool. Local guy.
did you read it, Pagel? Is it?
Yeah. I read
and
the article. It was kind
is
of
Is
his
it?
retrospective of his
Okay.
career and kind of the innovations that he did and how the general arc of things went with the Vetter company. And yeah, it was a cool little feature.
In fact, you look over here in the studio, and I have a Vetter helmet and Vetter gloves
Mhm.
that I had signed by him, even though it goes, I have nothing to do with it.
Hmm. He was quite the inventor. He invented all sorts of stuff, and we've talked about it before. But what a smart guy! Everything from hydraulic pumps to Captain America shields for your motorcycle, like all sorts of cool stuff. And I was looking at all the awards he's won, all the MA stuff, and rightly so. But then you remember the one award we saw at his house, Liza, the Antler Award. Bittersweet when he hit the deer,
Oh,
or the
right,
deer hit
right,
him,
right.
but they took the
Yeah.
antler and framed it and put
Right.
it up on the wall.
Wow.
And I know on our last show, we talked a little bit about the KLE 5,
Right.
the new Kawasaki.
Yeah.
Because, since I got the Ibex 450, which at the time was really the only bike in that niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about the KLE 5, which is actually a 450, came out. And then at EICMA, that was just recently. Did you see BMW announced the
The
GS
450, yep.
450?
And
I'm like-
Triumph has something coming out too. In that,
A straight plated?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, now I got to look that up. It's interesting how many bikes are jumping into that range, but it also seems like, for those of us who've been riding for decades, you see this trend where they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then they dial back, and now we've got 450s that used to be considered just small bikes that are as capable or more capable than any like 750 or 1000 cc bike of not too long ago.
Yeah. This has been a common argument, and it's going to keep happening. Better brakes, better tires, better engines, and yet, do we have better riders? It's rider training. We keep coming back to that. So
I'll tell you something. We've only got a few minutes till our special
Yeah.
guest comes on, but I just want to throw this out, and maybe this will be a longer conversation another time. But there are many times where I get a bike like my 990 SMT, and I go, this is my forever bike. I love this bike.
You say it a lot.
Well, hold on. A lot of us say that. And I go, I am never going to be a better rider than the technology on this bike. Therefore, I will never outpass it. It and I will be a perfect match. And that's what I've always thought, that because I'll never be able to outride its ability, I never need any newer bike. But what I realize every time I get a newer bike like this Ibex, and I realize how much better the bikes get and how it makes me a better rider by default, right? Yeah. And it's not about having a bike that outrides you. It's having a bike that compensates for you.
Well, I look at it like the technology allows you to be a safer rider, which makes it a lot more fun. You know, like the traction control, where that's going, especially the more advanced bikes where I won't say it's impossible to high side, but you know, you get a high-end BMW and, you know, like the RR, and the traction control is so good on those things. It just takes a lot of the danger out of it, you know, which is a good thing, which makes it more fun.
It can be done.
Yeah.
But it's true. It is becoming exceedingly rare. We had, I think, three sessions that we had: Catalunya, Aragon, and Portimao. Not a single bike from our training group down. We had some in terms of high sides. We had some low sides and whatnot, but people who are part of the training program, who were part of our training program, who were part of our group, they didn't go down. Other people went down, but not us, because it was all about being mature and you're there to train and have a blast.
And you're keeping all the rider aids on during this?
Yes. That's honestly, if you want some rider aids off, you have to be like, this is like your third time there, and or you have to be a coach or something to like spin it up. But there's no point.
They're not that intrusive anymore.
Yeah, the like the radar on the front of the S1000RR will like occasionally intrude on you and say, "Hey, you know, you're getting too close." Hey, okay, well, but if you're just there, just learning the track on day one, you know what? You shouldn't be riding on someone else's line. You should be riding a slightly different line. So yeah, back off, choose a different line and pass another way.
I realize that bikes make it easier.
Yeah. Well, you know, something maybe you appreciate about your 450, because when I went down to the Tenere, a middleweight bike, you don't have to go fast, and it's still a lot of fun. You know, right? Like when I was camping up in the Sierras a couple of months ago, and I think it was Highway 49, kind of goes Sierraville and Sierra City, these areas, and it's just real smooth, ribbony kind of 2-lane highways, and doing like 45 to 55 miles an hour for like an hour or two was just super enjoyable. So that's, you know, where you're like the leader bikes or stuff like that, it's just so easy to go fast. You kind of go fast without realizing it. But on the more middleweight bikes, I think that's that's kind of cool. I don't know if you found that on the Ibex, but yeah, you don't have to go fast to have a lot of fun.
Well, let me ask you guys,
because you kind of can't go fast anyway. Okay.
I used to be of the belief that when you learn on a harder to ride bike, that you become a better rider. But now I'm wondering if people are better off riding on these modern bikes with all these traction control and ABS and all this stuff.
I think riding on a motorcycle that has predictable, not scary handling allows you to explore your limits better than a bike that is a handful.
Yeah.
Well, as opposed to riding something that can kill you and surviving.
Well, I would say pick conditions that can kill you and you survive, right? Like hop on, I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but, and we've talked, is hop on a dirt bike. You know, if you want to improve your skills, no matter what you're riding, hop on a dirt bike and spin around in the loose dirt for a little while, play with the brakes and traction and your weight and all that kind of stuff. And so that's how that would be one easy.
The smaller, less intimidating bike gives you a feel of mastery. You can, give more control input. You can weight the pegs and something actually happens, for example, is something that a large bike just doesn't respond to as much.
But like Kat on the track, if somebody learns to ride on something like, let's say an SV650, which is a simple machine, not a lot of, doesn't have electronics and all that, just a basic, simple, good machine.
Yes.
And if they learn to master that, and then they get on something modern with all the electronics, does that, like, are they better to learn on something modern with all the, I'm going to
what you want is something, you want a neutral bike that doesn't fight you, that doesn't have a lot of personality at first and doesn't need to be high powered. And then you graduate and then you can have a bike with a bit, like a Ducati has personality. It wants to go. Whereas the BMW is a refined kitchen tool. It doesn't get in your way. and if you do the wrong thing, it'll let you know. You're like, "Oh, whoa, what are you doing there? You're not riding smooth." And then, but we always say that the bike goes fast, the rider goes slow. Yeah, it's all a mental game, really. From us to the aliens of MotoGP, it's all about space-time differential and learning how to slow your mind down while your bike is on the raggedy edge.
Bagel, sorry, this is something I'm not aware of. Are they adding all the same electronics to scooters?
Mm-hmm. They are in some ways, yes. There's definitely a lot more gadgets and smart technology being added, syncing up with your phone and being dependent on your phone, stuff like that. I'm not a fan myself. I like my vehicles to be simple, straightforward. I don't like all the gadgetry.
So do they do ABS on scooters? I can't believe I don't know this.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yep.
So when did they introduce IMUs to motorcycles? So the inertia measurement units, we talked about this. So is that early 2000s, maybe something like that?
Well, initially, I mean, you started getting them on your camera, on your little GoPro cameras and whatnot. We're starting to do it, and now we're seeing more of the stuff embedded in the bike. The 2010 R1 had data, and one of the great things about the White Series program is you can kick the grad school and you can actually look at your data, which is actual proof that, like, do you really trail brake properly? What's your lean angle? And they do the same thing at Racing School Europe, where we're looking at the data. There's no arguing here.
So the high end leader bikes were kind of the vanguard of that.
Yeah, but that filters down again to the like the R7. I'm sure you could buy a data module for it. Very soon, this technology that you only would see on MotoGP bikes is going to become available to the average consumer. You'll see where you are on the track. You'll see just like a MotoGP rider, and then all the bench racing and all the bullshit goes right out the window because let's see your data.
So the thing you're talking about is a related technology, which is specific for racing. So
it's going to be available for the consumer. Already is.
A lot of motorcycles have 6-axis IMUs on them.
Okay.
I don't know if they let you get access to the data. I suppose you have to hook to the CAN bus on the bike to get it. But
some are very restrictive. Like getting access to the BMW one is a little bit tougher. Getting access to the Yamaha one is easier.
Well, like, I don't know about you guys, but I'll go ahead and say I make fun of the young generation don't know how to drive a stick shift car, right?
I know where you're going with this, yeah. Right? Well, here's what I would say, because what you're asking is if you had like an analog bike, for lack of better words, you don't have any of that kind of stuff. Does that make you better?
Are you a better rider because you've learned how to handle all that stuff without?
I would say yes.
Or is it better to learn with all of that?
Well, I would say it depends, right? And one way to look at it is, there's a heavy price to pay. If you learn where the edge of the envelope is to high side on a leader bike or low side on a leader bike, it's going to be much more punishing than if you did it on your 250 Nighthawk, right? So I think I kind of agree. I agree with what you're saying. It's like learn how to drive a stick shifter, get your first bike, let it be a 250 Nighthawk or something like that. It's easy to ride. You're not going to be going that fast.
500 Ninja.
Yeah, or not even that. Something even just a 250, and then you can find the envelope. I would say a little bit safer, but on a 450 bike or a bigger bike, you don't want to figure out where the high side point is or where the low side.
Is Harley putting all the rider aids on their bikes? I know they do on the Pan America, but I don't know about the other bikes. Are they?
You mean like cruise control and
no, more like
traction?
Yeah, you're right. But traction control. I mean, are they
floorboards? Great.
Reason is that if I feel like a lot of those riders are the ones that might take it out on a weekend, a month, and that's about it. They're the ones that probably could use it the most.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said for that.
That's a fair question. I feel like I was reading up on the newer Sportster. Is it it's not the Nightster, it's something like that. That it has all the new electronics on it.
Mm-hmm.
Much like how we're seeing, I thought it was the craziest thing when you started seeing like a Ninja 300 with ABS. I'm like, why do you need that on a little bike? But then, I don't know.
Because it's safer.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But
that's where I'm just realizing I've had this ideal that if you can master the simpler machine, then then you'll be a better rider because of it. But I realize it's the bikes with all the technology that are making me a better rider. So maybe I have that backwards.
Yeah. Well, and would you apply the same principle to a car? You're like, oh no, you're a new driver. You should not have ABS because it'll make you a better driver.
You don't need airbags.
Oh, hey, yeah. So anyway, I know where you're coming from though. You should learn how to drive a stick shift though.
They do knee dragging classes on little 75 or 50 cc single little dirt bikes. You just put slick tires on it and you measure the edge of control. And when you fall over, guess what? You're only falling over about 6 inches and you just sort of plop on the ground.
It's like being a toddler.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
you just fall over. Yeah. So feel the raggedy edge.
Yeah. So anyway, there's all these new bikes coming out in the same field as the Ibex. So it'll be interesting to see how this market is changing.
Because you see who buys them.
But more so than that, just talking with people out in the garage today, the dealership experience of me buying that bike has made me really doubt that the system that's set up now of buying from a dealer, like that's going to survive much longer. The dealers are being squeezed from both sides. They're being squeezed by all the suppliers that want them to buy more, buy more stock, more models. And then by us, the public, like myself, who's like, well, I'm not going to pay $3,000 over list price for this bike. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous. But then I guess you look at if you're buying a $35,000 BMW and it's $3,000 over list price for assembly and all that. Does that sound fair? But when it's a $6,500 bike, it's that same cost to assemble, transport, and all that stuff. Now suddenly I'm like, I'm not paying it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the dealerships are going to survive that.
Well, I would say that I made this case at the Indy Dealer Expo, almost a decade ago. I said, you need to become a source of community for motorcycles in your area. This is where you come to watch races, MotoGP, Enduro, whatever.
That's true.
And you come to trust these people. It's about loyalty with your local community. And
Phil will argue that.
Yeah.
In that it's a waste of his time. The amount of people want to come in and just talk about the bike they used to have. And like he doesn't have time
Well, he
for
doesn't
that.
have to be there for that. You just hire somebody else to pour the beer and turn on the TV.
No, but I get it. Like they want a bartender to just listen to them talk about the old days and this and that. And the dealerships have to turn bikes. They have to make numbers on these. But I'm just wondering what the future is going to look like, what the new model might be. I kind of like what Verge is doing. They were here 2 weeks ago, that they set up these test ride centers like at the mall in San Jose.
This is crazy. Yeah.
You go do a test ride and then you order from them and they'll have it. Did they even say if they deliver it to you?
They didn't say.
Well, not yet because they haven't released the US spec bike yet, but they will.
It's kind of like...
So that's kind of how Tesla got started too.
Right.
The direct-to-consumer model. And they had their store in Santana Road, just right across the street. And that's how you would go buy a Tesla is you go in, you look at the car, you drive it, and then they deliver it to you.
Well, you all, don't take this wrong way. You all are old. Maybe you'll remember this. Did any of you ever visit a Sears catalog store?
Oh, I did.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like when you could buy a house.
No, but where there was no products.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You'd go into this, it looked like a check cashing center with a window
They
and
would
catalogs.
Yes.
And you'd go in and order what you want from the catalog, and then they would have it shipped from one of their stores or distribution centers and brought in. Which now you just go online to order, but I'm wondering if something like that may happen, where you don't actually have the bikes there.
They sold Vespas that way back in the day at Sears.
Yeah.
Montgomery Ward sold Lambrettas too.
Yeah.
There was the car that you could buy at General
Hondas
Electric.
were sold at hardware stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think the future of motorcycling, so many things are changing.
Even
and the
car
dealership
buying
experience.
Car buying is different now. You have these services like Carvana and others where they just deal with it. and you don't have to deal with, sleazy salespeople pressuring you and all that. It's like, here's your price. Here's when it's going to be delivered to you. No issues, no problems.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see where it's going to go. I think I know somebody who's a great source of wisdom when it comes to all things motorcycling and predicting the future and explaining the past. Somebody who might have his own opinion of what the dealership experience of the future might look like. Why don't we ask Ryan from Fortnine?
What?
Ryan, are you there?
We're not worthy.
We're not worthy.
We're not
scum. We suck.
Hey, Ryan.
Hello. Hey. It's good to be here. I feel like I think I can hear you. I think I can see you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Cool.
You can hear us okay?
Firing on all cylinders.
I can send you more signal if you need. Just let me know.
No, I think I think this is good. Though I must confess, I kind of missed the question. Some about dealerships.
So, yeah, we were just talking about dealerships are struggling, and we're wondering in the future what might the model look like. And we were just talking about the old Sears catalog store where you'd go and just order from a catalog, and they'd bring it in, order it for you. I'm wondering, but there was no products there, but you could order a million things, but nothing was stored there. What do you think the future of dealerships might look like in the way off future?
I think this is not a future that I'm particularly looking forward to. It's not what I want dealerships to look like. But I think everyone's purchasing habits are increasingly digital. People want to be able to go to a place, try out an object, and then go home and place an order. I think what stresses people out about dealership is that there's this kind of haggle culture. You got to go and like negotiate.
Yeah,
exactly.
The deal, and there's anxiety on the part of the consumer that if they do haggle, maybe they're an asshole. But if they don't haggle, maybe they're getting like screwed out of $5,000 that the next guy is not going to pay on that R1300 GS. So people like digital transactions because they can go online and click a button. The price is the same for everyone else. They know it's going to be, and they're more comfortable with that. So I wouldn't be surprised if motorcycles went direct to consumer. If we had kind of like showrooms where you could go and ride a bunch of bikes, because that's a pain point right now. Like, you want to, drop $30K, $40K on a Ducati Multistrada, you often can't even try the thing, which is crazy. So to have like a showroom system where you can go and try bikes, but the bikes in the showroom are only like test bikes. They're only demo bikes. They're there just to be test ridden. And then if you want one, you go home, you click a button, you make an online purchase, and that bike shows up to your door, in a box sometime later.
You know what I think might be an interesting strategy is if dealers were oriented that way and they had a fleet available that you could not only test ride, go out.
Yeah, it's called every summer at the races.
Well, there's
go
that.
And test ride a bike.
But no, they have bikes that you can rent in the showroom, and so they're maintained, and as opposed to going twisted road, as great as they are, if you can ride the latest and greatest, most neon bike and rent it and get a real experience with it.
I'm still on the branding side of things, but anyway, go ahead, Lon.
Well, Ryan, it's funny you mentioned the Multistrada because you recently had a pretty long test ride on one.
Yeah, I had the longest test ride in the world. We rode a couple of those around the world. Try to do it as fast as possible. I think, in 16 days we did like upwards of 20-something thousand kilometers. So it was an intense one. Yeah,
in fact, you're here to talk about this because you did this crazy thing. Now, just to say, when we say crazy, like, we're friends with, like Aaron Sills and Wendy Crockett, people who set world records doing things super fast or long or whatever. You somehow managed to top them, and I never considered you as one of the crazies. So,
welcome to the club. Is that what it is?
Nuts. God, you've put me in elite company.
So tell everyone, exactly what you did, and then we'll get into all the details.
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, first off, thanks very much for having me on. I hit you up and hey, could I do a bunch of promo for this film on your channel? But anyway, appreciate you having me on. Yeah, we wanted to break the overland circumnavigation record, which is the fastest time around the world by car, by motorcycle, by boats. It's been set by motorcycles the last few times because they filter through traffic and they're pretty fast and whatever. But it hasn't been set recently. So Kevin and Julia Sanders did like a 19-day, 8-hour time, like way back in 97. And then Nick Sanders, not related to him, just has the same last name, did a 19-day, 4-hour time in 2005. And no one's ever tried it since. And part of the reason for that is because nobody knew like who had the record, what time needed to be broken, because the people who did it previously all kind of rode across the continent and then stopped the clock and shipped their bike overseas and took a bunch of rest time while the bike arrived in the next place and then continued again, which is cool. But in an endurance record, like how much rest time is too much? There was a lot of contention over this. So Kevin and Julia said like, Nick took too much because he took like 9 days. He was like, bullshit. You took like 40 days if I worked harder and whatever. So the record was in this really contentious place. And we wanted to settle it. So we tried to do like the longest route, which is Nick's route that goes through like India and Southeast Asia. It's like a little bit more complicated of a route. But to do it is like a clean time. So we started the clock when we left Vancouver, heading east, and we didn't stop the clock until we came back to Vancouver, coming from the west. So inclusive of all flights and all border delays, sleeping, which there wasn't very much of. You basically just ride 20, 30, 40 hours a day and try to sleep like, a couple, maybe 2 or 3 hours by the side of the road. And then just keep doing that. Try to get around as quick as you can.
That's crazy. And who did you have with you on this trip?
I had my buddies. So Connor, who's been a bud of mine for a few years now. He's a Fortnine guy. People who at the channel will know him. He was riding the other Ducati Multistrada. And then on the back of my bike, I had Edwin, who's a filmmaker at Fortnine. Because the goal, aside from just like breaking the record and breaking it in like a clean way so that other people might be inspired to get out there and try it again, we wanted to make a really cool movie out of it. So the only way to film a documentary while breaking a speed record is to have a really good documentary filmmaker like sitting on the back of your bike so that whenever you stop, even if it's for 30 seconds, he can jump off and he has a cinema camera in his hands and he can get, really good footage of whatever it is that's happening. Like, a border guard who's giving up a scree for a massive crash on the side of the road or, whatever it is that might be going on at that time. So yeah, so it's the three of us, 2 bikes, one filmmaker on the back, and we went.
I was wondering if his job was the hardest, because when you guys had to like sit down and close your eyes, he still had to film.
His job was definitely the hardest. Yeah, like imagine doing like a 30 or 40-hour ride day, and you finally stop. Like the one thing you want to do is just get off the bike and immediately pass out. And those were the moments where Edwin had to get out the camera, film some stuff, pull a bunch of SD cards and start dumping footage, because we racked up like terabytes and terabytes of footage over the course of the circumnavigation there. And he also had the worst seat, right? Like pillion seats kind of suck. And on the Multistrada, it's no different. And of course, if you're not riding, it's a little bit less entertaining, right? I think it's that much harder to stay awake when you don't have to necessarily focus on anything. He's able to let his mind wander a little more.
Did you ever consider having a vest with a laptop on your back so that he could at least be editing while riding?
Yeah.
That would have been next level. I don't think he got to that level of but he was doing a lot of stuff back there. He was doing like full yoga routines, like hanging off the bike, doing all kinds of stretches. He was rolling cigarettes in his front pocket of his jacket. He was, calling his wife, and
you'd feel his head like slightly bump against your helmet from time to time as he sort of dozed off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a few of those. Yeah, we kind of had a system of hand signals towards the end where I just kind of like slap him on the leg and he give me a thumbs up. Like, yeah.
That don't fall off the bike signal. So I'm curious, did Edwin happen to break his own or have his own record?
Is that a record?
As a pillion, did he do a pillion record?
I think it is. Yeah, I definitely believe it is. To go around the world as a pillion that fast, I don't think it's been done before. The couple who did it in '97, Kevin and Julia, they were riding 2-up, so she was a pillion for that ride. But it was it was a few days longer than what we did. One of the problems that Edwin had though, and if you watch the movie, then you'll be aware of this. If you haven't watched the movie yet, watch the movie, and then and then this won't spoil anything for you. But Edwin's a Lebanese guy, so his passport's not one of the world's favorites. That he got his visa denied for Portugal.
Right.
And so there was a moment in the trip where we had to kind of split ways. Mm-hmm. He kind of leapfrogged to head to Italy, and we picked him up on the road there. So his circumnavigation is missing a little sliver, like a 24 or 26 hour ride day in Europe.
That's very odd because the folks in Portugal are generally very, very welcoming. But okay, Lebanese, there you go.
I know.
Yeah, and I think it often comes down to one guy in his booth who makes the call. You know what I mean? Like the Portugal might have said yes, but in that case, no.
I wanted to just cover too, for doing this record, what qualified for circumnavigating. Did you have to go from like southern to northern? What is the exact like parameters to meet?
It was an interesting route. Yeah.
It's a great question. Our routes, we basically tried to replicate what we felt was the most complete route that had been counted as the record in the past. So that was Anchorage to Miami, so like diagonal across Canada and all of North America and the States. Then you fly to Lisbon and ride from there to Istanbul through Portugal, Spain, Italy, France, Slovenia, Croatia, Serbia, Bulgaria, Turkey. And then you fly from there to Mumbai and ride to Kolkata, so across India. You fly from there to Bangkok and ride to Singapore, so Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. And then you fly to Perth and ride to Sydney, so across the Nullarbor on that south part of Australia, and then back. So you hit the northern and the southern hemisphere, and if you kind of draw that line on the map, it looks like a good line around the world. And it's basically the same route that Nick Sanders did. He actually also stopped in New Zealand, which was really cool. But not counting his flying time, we felt like there wasn't much point because we'd spend way more time flying there than actually riding, because to get across New Zealand is like, it's a very skinny little island. So we took that one out. Kevin and Julia did it quite differently again, because their record was before the war in Iraq. It's like pre 9/11. So they actually went diagonal across North America like we did, and then Lisbon to Istanbul like we did. But from Istanbul, they rode south through like Iraq and Iran and Saudi Arabia down to Qatar, and then flew from there to Australia. So they didn't include India or Southeast Asia there. So it's always been done a few different ways, and because of that, I think we felt at least a little bit free to make the few changes that we did. But generally, our route was kind of the same as has been done in the past. There's been some discussion before about hitting like I can't remember what the word is, but basically points that are diametrically opposite on the globe. So like there's kind of a spot in the Americas and a spot in the Australias where you can say like, okay,
I think it's the antipode.
Antipode, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Perth is like the antipode of
nerd points
where we
Thanks, nerd.
Nerd. Right, love it.
Yeah, we found the nerd in here.
Hey, I had a question, and you spoke to it, but border crossings were a thing, right? And I don't want to give away anything in the movie. They were a thing. At one point in the movie, you spoke a little bit about being prepared, and I'm curious. Hindsight's 20/20, all that stuff. Going into it, did you feel like you were like thoroughly prepared for all this stuff, kind of adequately, or were you like, we're prepared enough, it'll be okay? Because the things that seem to pop up were interesting.
Totally. I'm a bit more of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy. Like the day before the trip, I was like, passport, credit card, pants, like, let's go.
Let's go.
I can't go around the world like this, and I'll just figure out what I don't have. My buddy Connor, and I think this comes across in the movie, is like a much more tactical guy. He's got his fanny pack, he's got his supplements, and he's wearing all this technical gear, and he's kind of planned his different layers for places. So there's a mix of preparedness on the trip. But in terms of borders, that we did try to cross all our T's on. I first heard Nick Sanders speak over a year before we actually set the record. So I was over in England at the AVR Festival, and I heard him talk. And he was mentioning how the round the world record was 19 days. And I said, oh, perfect, because I always wanted to do a big trip. Well, I was a lucky enough little shit to be able to call it work. And I could say to my wife, like, hey, I want to do this big thing, but I'll be back in 2 weeks. It's not going to be so long. And so that's kind of how we decided to do the trip. And from that point on, that was in July. So we kind of passed to September. And then it was the following September where we actually went. So we had 15 months of prep time to work on visas. Because when you're rocking up to a border with a film crew, it's like a whole different ballgame. You got to run that.
Yeah, they don't seem to dig GoPros.
Yeah. Dude, and the amount of times you're like, okay, we're not filming while we're watching you film. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's got balls.
Like a Michael Moore documentary.
And Edwin's got huge balls. I mean, he's the exact guy you want to shoot a documentary because he'll be rolling all the time.
And there's one where you're literally like, I'm not filming. They're like, dude, your camera has the red light on your chest.
There's a setting you go inside to turn the blinky red light off. Hello.
I know.
Yeah. we weren't even smart enough to do that. Yeah, we tried to have the right paperwork for all the borders. And some of those filmmaking visas take like a year to arrive, but even still we had a huge share of problems there.
So would you say as a Canadian you had an easier time than if you were American getting those visas?
There's a good question. I'd say it was a little easier for me than Connor. So Connor's an American. So we had 3 different passports. I think I had the easiest time just because of the Commonwealth thing. So if you're Canadian, like it's really easy to get into Australia, for example. And America's a cinch anyway, because we have like journalism visas for the States. We go down there and shoot all the time. So I had probably the least hurdles. The American passport was pretty similar. It wasn't too bad. Edwin's like the Lebanese passport was like a nightmare at almost every border. But it switched in Turkey. He was laughing at us in Turkey because as soon as we got there, they were like, Lebanese, no problem, come on in. So the Canadian and the American were given the screws quite a bit more. So he was kind of laughing at us there. But in the end, it's all good. It's just paperwork.
So something I find interesting, you're talking about the previous records, how they're debatable because of the way that they handled it. And I say the same about your trip, which is debatable because did the previous record holders do it on the same bike?
Exactly that. Yeah.
Because you found a little loophole here.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Our record is for sure as debatable as anyone else's. For my part, like, I don't want to cast aspersion on the previous ones. Like,
no.
When I say they're debatable, I don't debate them. I fully think Kevin and Julie and Nick Sanders like both got it, but they never agreed. So Kevin and Julie and Nick had this huge kind of online spat about it after, and wrote some articles, kind of bashing the other's records and stuff, which is what put it in contention. But yes, you're absolutely right. So what we wanted to do, we were like, endurance record, like sleep deprivation is the main challenge. And in terms of cleanliness, like just to make it simple for other people, like it's got to be a one shot. That's where it's the hardest. So, start the clock, set off, and just keep the clock running so you come back around. That's easy. Because then you can say like Anchorage, Miami, Lisbon to Istanbul, Mumbai to Calcutta, Bangkok to Singapore, Perth to Sydney. If you do that and get back around in less than this time, you've got the record. So we wanted to define it as simply as possible and make it the hardest endurance challenge. But as a motorcyclist, and I totally understand how people might think this way, there's something very romantic about doing it on one bike. And I would love to have done it on one bike, but as a one shot, it then becomes not really possible because shipping a bike between all the continents in like a timely fashion is just not going to happen. That's something that's inherently very slow. So you either decide to stop the clock and take a unspecified amount of rest time in between continents, or to say, crap, we can't do this all on one bike. We're gonna do it on different ones. every time we get off the plane.
Yeah, so let's talk about how you figured out this loophole and how you made these arrangements and how you ended up on the multistrada, which I'm multistrada curious about. I know you have one.
Yeah, I love it.
I know.
I love my Rico.
Oh, cool. Which era of multistrada do you have?
I got a 2021. I pretty much called my friends in the industry and I said, hey, is this bike really all they said it is going to be? And the answer I got back from a couple of them was, this is what I'm going to write in the article, but here's what you should know. This bike changes everything. I'm like, okay, take my money. And I did it.
I agree. I think it's a phenomenal bike. Yeah, so you do it in one shot. That meant that, we right into the airport in Miami, like throw the bikes into somebody, hop right on the plane, try to sleep on the plane. And when we land in Lisbon, we come out of the airport and boom, there's 2 bikes and off we go.
2 new bikes. How perfect.
So multistrada is all the way around, right?
Not quite, actually. Yeah, it was multistrada most of the way around. But we had a slight hiccup in Southeast Asia where there's some laws there that meant that the Ducati press bikes couldn't cross borders.
Right.
We ended up on like Desert X's in Thailand.
Oh no!
Such a sacrifices were made.
I know, so hard, right? And no hardship at all. But the reason it was Ducati is because they said yes. So when I decided I wanted to try the record, and I decided that this was the way I wanted to do it, I kind of got in touch with all the marketing people at different manufacturers that I've met over the last like 10 years of doing this stupid fun job, and said, hey, I want to go for this. Like, would you be able to organize the bikes like that? And everybody said no. It was either a case of like, no, that's way too dumb and dangerous. We just don't want to be involved in something like that. Or
that's probably what Honda told you, right?
I'm not going to name names, but you got a pretty good guess there. Or no, it's just logistically not possible because some manufacturers can't organize like bikes in America and also in India and also in Malaysia and also in Australia. Like, requires quite a bit of globalization.
BMW is not the first choice for you and Charlie for a long way around. They're the ones who said yes.
Right. They originally wanted KTM.
Right.
Yeah. And look how that turned out.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think Paolo Perozzi came through San Francisco going from sort of Ducati club to Ducati club. And I just finished film school at the time. And we did this great, documentary film of him coming to the Bay Area. And I said, hey, Ducati, here, look at this. And they're like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, okay. But then I got a 2010 Multistrada and I sent them a picture of the same place in Monument Valley. I went through it with my Multistrada, 2010 Multistrada, the exact same place my grandfather drove his 1902 Tourist through. It's just like, it's in the blood. We have to do it. We have to go. We have to break new barriers with crazy machinery.
So Ducati said yes. And you got the greatest test ride of all time. What do you think of the Multistrada now?
I love it. It's great. Yeah, I was super bike agnostic before the trip. It's like I'm happy to do it on like a Goldwing.
You'll ride a Silverwing, so yeah.
My old Silverwing. Honestly, if I could have that old Silverwing like in every continent, I happily do that. I don't care. But having spent a long time on the Multistrada, I don't have anything bad to say about it. Like, the bikes never let us down. We never had a mechanical, aside from like a mirror rattling loose in Australia, just because it wasn't Loctited, and that's such a tiny little thing. And we killed the battery on a bike in Alaska, but we were like charging an entire like film kit off the back of these things the whole way. That was definitely our fault. And it's amazing that the alternator actually kept up for as long as it did. And otherwise, they had no problems. In terms of going a extremely long distance, extremely quickly, it's a very good bike for that because the V4 is super fun. So whenever you're tired, you can crack your wrist and have a phenomenal time. It's the engine out of the Panigale with like different cams. And because it's a Panigale engine that makes like 210 horsepower that they've detuned down to 160, it's like really under stressed the way that you would ride it when you're touring. Like even when you're kind of on it and you're going like, silly illegal speeds, that engine's still not working hard because it's really a racing engine. And it's just kind of chilling when you're ticking along at 200 or whatever. So the service intervals are massive. It's like 60,000 K for valves or whatever. So it goes very fast. It goes very long without needing maintenance. And it can go very long tank to tank because the Rally has that 30-liter tank. And the bike knows when it's under 5,000 RPM to run off the back two cylinders and to not engage the front ones. And that actually makes it reasonably economical. So there's places in the nullarbor where it'll be like next fuel 350 kilometers. And so then, okay, it's time to not be like a goof, keep it running as a V2 and it's definitely going to get there. You get 500K out of the range.
Well, I'm curious, going far and fast is one thing, but what's it like dodging cows and goats on the muddy roads of rural India on the Ducati? That's where you
with a pillion.
That's where you
with what tires? What tires?
Street tires.
Street tires. The ones that came on, like they got the stupid name. They're Pirellis. They're like Scorpion Trails, but the trail is actually the kind of street one, and there's like a Scorpion Rally. It's Barnaby, but anyway, street tires, which is fine. Like everyone else in India is on like equal tire or inferior tires probably, and it works.
Because y'all were pretty fearless cutting through traffic and everything else on a lot of that, and you were going pretty quick.
Yeah, we're going quick. The thing about India is it's kind of chaotic. Like the only way to get like the officially 30 million and unofficially like 45 million people that live in Mumbai around that city is to have them operate like that, like schools of fish. Whoever has the biggest group can take the right of way. Like there's not really traffic lights and lines. You can do what you want if you have the power of numbers, and it works very effectively. But it means that at any given time, you could see like 2 tire trucks with their lights off coming at you the wrong way down a split highway, and a farmer's taking his goats across there. And there's cows laying in the middle of the road that they're not going to remove for spiritual reasons, and kids and just everything is happening all at once. And when there's that level of chaos, to be on a really fast bike, I think is actually a benefit because you can go quicker than everything else on the road, and you ensure that everything comes at you from one direction. Like if you're the quickest thing on the road, it's all coming towards you. You don't really have to worry about stuff coming from the back. And that ended up being something that made me more comfortable. It's a ton of fun. Like India by far was my favorite place to ride. I could move there and ride there all year, and I'd just be like giddy like a child. It's a blast.
I'm a leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar. It's you just have to be part of the flow, and be the fastest dragonfly on the river.
Yeah, that's it. And Canada's like really litigious, right? It's like there's lines and laws and you have to obey them. So to be able to ride and not have to do that was a very freeing experience.
Yeah, and watching you guys ride through India, it reminded me so much of when I rode through Karimabad in Pakistan in rush hour traffic. It was like, and I was following our leader who was racing to get to the hotel. He was going to ride ahead, but I decided I would follow him, and it ended up being the best hooligan ride of my life. It was hilarious.
John and I have been the same ride. Yeah. It's true.
Yep.
I hooligan myself into the back of a truck.
Take a scooter taxi in Bangkok. Just wrap your legs around the guy, especially someone my size, and just hold on and watch him fly.
Well, Ryan,
Bangkok's goofy too. We went back to India. So part of this documentary too, like the entire narrative arc is like real stuff. That's all like the real stuff that happened on the trip. All the dialogue is real. Like we're not actors, and we're really proud of that. But when you think about a nice motorcycle movie that you might see on streaming services or in theaters, you want to see like nice drone shots and like beautiful cinematic riding footage and landscapes. And so then we had to do the trip twice. We'll go around the world again and shoot all the nice riding B-roll so that we could cut it in and make the movie actually look good. And that meant we got to go back to India and hang out with a bunch of Ducati India dudes and work around shooting in Mumbai and in the backcountry with them, which was such a treat because we had this guy Pratt, who's like probably one of the most skilled riders I've ever had the privilege of riding behind. And he was just like, oh man, like my girlfriend lived like 2 hours over here where we were shooting. And so I would like get off work and like, try to get there as fast as I could and be able to spend some time with the girlfriend and get back for work the next day. So he was sort of like, stay on my tail and we'll do this faster than anyone else is ever going to do this.
Yeah.
Made for this just ludicrous ride. What should have been 2 hours into Mumbai ended up being like 40 minutes or something. We got to the end just like sweating bullets. Like, man, that was ridiculous. So getting to follow local is definitely the way.
So I'll tell you something I really enjoyed about the movie for those who are familiar with the Fortnine video series, where you have a very prepared, often scripted, intellectual, performative film that you're doing. This one was just raw. It was just you and Connor and just being you. Sometimes in your underwear, it's just, this is what was happening. And it wasn't performative at all. So it was really nice to see that. And there was, one of the things that I love about when you do your scripted stuff, you put in some really fun, unique kind of little quotes, Easter eggs things. So I was listening very closely on this one. And just like last time, we've created a game for you, Ryan, to see how well you remember this trip. Johnny, you want to take we got 3 rounds of this. Johnny will take the first round.
All right, here we go. You ready? The first quote is, blank is the most beautiful country. Oh, blank is the most beautiful country.
Yeah, it's, I'm pretty sure it's America.
That is
ding.
That's right. Yeah.
Ding.
Hooray.
Yeah, it's absolutely, and it's absolutely true. Like the variety that you guys have in America is unbelievable.
It's true.
Canada, we all kind of live in this like tiny little strip along the border. And it's gorgeous. And it does change a bit if you drive like 30 hours. You'll get a slightly different look. But to go through like Washington and like, Oregon and California, but then like Montana in the middle and like New York and then Hawaii and Alaska. It's like, geez, for one country, man, you guys got a beauty going on.
Very, very well done. All right.
Okay, next one.
Wow.
Ryan is unshakable. He's like a fast blank.
Oak tree. That was Connor's line.
That was right. Classic. Yeah.
That was a great line.
It's probably the best compliment I've ever had. Now, I didn't hear it because he was on the phone with Edwin at that time. And it wasn't until I was going through like rough cut footage with Ed when we got back that I saw that clip and I was like, oh man, that's so sweet. Connor's a witty dude. He's witty off the cuff too.
Well, and I think he was referring to, and this is something I also enjoyed about the film, is that you just had a great attitude the whole time. You were just loving. Didn't matter what things you were dealing with or sleep deprivation.
And just monster days.
You were having fun the whole time.
Oh yeah. If I'm going to go around the world, I'm going to have the time of my life. I absolutely loved it. When we got back to, I was tired and I was super ready to go home, but I remember saying to guys like, I think I could do another lap. I could again. I was so stoked, like on seeing all this new stuff. I'd never been to most of these places, and I was having the time of my life despite the sleep deprivation.
All
right. Next one. My blank is bleeding.
My nose is bleeding.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Just randomly started bleeding, and you were still just smiling.
Oh yeah, that was a treat. We had a series of nightmares at the Turkish border. We didn't have the right paperwork, and then we weren't EU citizens. The bike couldn't go into Turkey unless they were Turkish bikes. That was kind of the only way we could ride them in. And so Ducati Istanbul had to basically grease enough ponds to legally import and buy the bikes from Ducati Spain, which only takes like 5 days. They had to do it in like 2 hours because our flight was right there and we weren't going to make it. And, Capiculi crossing to the Istanbul airport is maybe like 2.5, 3 hours. And at this point, our flight was like leaving in 45 minutes. Our fixer dude on the phone is like telling us, I'm not sure you can make it. Like I've done it in 90 minutes in my car. You're going to have to smash that. Like disregard the speed limits, do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this is
Game
I've been training
on.
for this my
Challenge
whole life,
accepted.
you know?
Exactly. But Turkish prisons are.
I've heard more stories about that. Didn't really want to-
John's been to one.
Yeah. I worked in one.
Well, this next one is one of my favorites, and this goes back to, I think this was in India when things were getting a little crazy.
Okay, ready? Giant hole in the ground. Watch out. Watch out. Garbage can fire. 2 dogs blank. Cows in the road.
Fucking 2 dogs fucking.
Why do you ask? 2 dogs fucking.
Sounds like an Indian name.
No, it's an Australian joke.
I love that edit of just you telling Connor what to expect. And just do this, watch out, garbage can on fire, whoa, 2 dogs fucking, whoa, watch out.
You could have been in Kentucky too. You just don't know.
Yeah.
It's an important detail because then you know they are not going to move.
Right.
They're not going to move.
You're
Yeah,
stuck.
Right. Oh, they're really not going to move because they get stuck.
yeah, they're committed there.
All right, so far you're batting 100. Let's see if we can get this one.
All right.
Yeah.
Sunset's going to be great. Yeah, that's the great thing about blank.
Pollution.
Yep.
Yeah, sunsets
Yeah.
in India. They look like they do here when the forest fires set in. I
Oh,
you guys
interesting.
Yeah.
know about this in California as well. You got those like really red, like just changes the whole. It's like the air is red, and you're just seeing through the. It's it's gorgeous, and it's a huge part of it is from the pollution, unfortunately, but it is beautiful.
All right, this next one is called By the Numbers. It's very simple. You just need to give us the correct number. What is the total amount of countries visited?
Oh man, if I sat here and listed them, I would get it right. But I don't want to like bore everyone with that, so I'm gonna just kind of ballpark it and say like 18.
Okay, I don't know the answer. I was going to say.
Oh, then I gotta figure it out.
I'll have to look at the rest.
Well, hold on. Start going, and we'll count on our fingers.
It's Croatia, Slovenia, Serbia, Bulgaria, Turkey, India, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Australia. Might be 16. I might have missed 1 or 2 in there, but
You got Canada and USA, I assume.
I think I got Canada and USA.
Okay.
If I lost one, it was probably in Europe because you go through them so fast.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, guys, we're in Italy. Whoa, no, we're in France now. Whoa, no, we're in Slovenia now. It's just like, just disappears.
All right. And what was the total time that you wrote on that bridge to complete this?
I'll never forget that. Yeah, 16 days, 23 hours. That's a thing we were proud of.
And that is the record, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I again, it depends who you ask. We're just kind of throwing it out there and saying, hey, this is what we did, and if you think this is cool, like try to break this. But whether anyone thinks that that's the world record or not is going to be up to them. Guinness certified one, and then retired the category, saying that it was kind of too dangerous. So none of them have been Guinness officials since 1997.
All right. So what was the total amount of bikes used?
Oh yeah, okay. So we had the 2 that we rode from home, and they were the same 2 that we rode from Alaska back to home. So there were 2 there. We had a couple in Europe, a couple in India, a couple in Thailand, a couple in Malaysia, a couple in Singapore, a couple in Australia. So we're talking
Is that
about
14?
14 bikes. Yeah.
Wow. And do you know the total miles ridden?
I should. I really should. I think it's like 16,000 some, but no.
I have one less question, not to give anything away. Do you remember the total of the one repair bill that you ended up with?
Well, you offered to pay for the crash.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to give anything away, but,
Yeah, I know.
but there are some thrills and chills.
One crash.
Yes. Yeah, we were actually invoiced some rupees, but no. Spoiler: we were so exhausted in India, and Connor's feet were smelling so bad. He kind of like saw
that's right.
pharmacy and like hooked to the left to get off of it. And I behind, was totally my fault. Just like wasn't paying attention, didn't see quick enough, and ended up rear-ending Connor. So I had the great dishonor of going to our very kind Ducati press manager and telling him that I hit one of his very nice expensive press bikes with the other very
bike.
nice Princess bike. Yeah, which is a real tragedy there. But no critical mechanical componentry, fortunately. Really.
Nice. All right. And the last question in the by the number section. Total amount of clean underwear changes.
Ooh, yeah.
Clean changes?
Yeah.
No flipping it and reversing it. That's not allowed.
Well, there was some of that. So I think I brought 7. So we had 7 clean changes and then seven rough flip sides.
Yeah. That's how you
and
know.
then there would have been a couple rewears in there. If they're going by 24-hour days. But the weird thing about the trip is like you don't really go by 24-hour days because the ride sort of sections are often more than that. And you're always moving through time zones. So like the idea of days becomes like sort of irrelevant anyway.
And you're sleeping in the nullarbor and you're not taking showers anyway. So just keep going. And
you're not gonna bother taking off your underwear, especially when it's like minus 10 degrees out there.
It's been more than once. We've dried socks and jocks, on the mirrors and on the windscreen.
Do what you got to do. All
That's
right.
a good way to do it, actually. Yeah, never tried that.
All right. So far, you're nailing all of them. You have one more section. This one is called 3 Things.
Ooh.
Okay. What are the 3 things you saw while hallucinating? That's a big part of the.
Name 3 things.
Yeah. I could name so many things. This is called confabulation. We found this out after we got back because my sister's a clinical psychologist, and she was like, "Oh, you were clinically sleep deprived, and you were having confabulations, which is where your mind like really makes up something that doesn't exist." So we'd be riding along, and for me, it was always construction workers. Statues of men on horses. And
Really?
giant skull. Yeah. So we'd be riding and you'd see something really vividly. Like it would be this point where we'd be like, wow, look, there's a man on a horse. It's like a big statue. Maybe he's some war hero. I wonder what that is, guys. Like, what do you think? Wow, is it stone? That's such a massive, cool sculpture. And then you'd come past it and it would be like turned into like a tree or something like that.
Wow.
It's not that you're seeing it fuzzy. It's not like, ooh, what is that? I can't make it out. Your brain like really vividly sees details in this object, but later just ceases to be there. And those are like deep fatigue hallucinations.
And that's something you guys did well with the film to kind of let you, the viewer of the film, kind of get that sensation. I think there's one time you're like, watch out for the RV. And I thought I saw like an RV flash on the screen for a second. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
It made me feel like, oh, wait, I can't trust what I'm seeing.
I'm glad that you felt that way because that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to just put the viewer in it. The whole movie, like we wanted to just put him in it and let him feel what this round trip feels like rather than like explaining so much. Like and what I just kind of told you guys about confabulations, clinical sleep deprivation, none of that's in the movie because we'd rather just put people in the router seat and let them experience it and decide for themselves how they feel about it.
Nice.
All right. Okay. Now I'm going to give a little caveat on this one. Name 3 non-domesticated animals that you saw.
3
dogs and cats don't count.
Alive or dead?
Yeah. Alive or dead's fine, yeah.
Okay, dead or alive. Yeah, great. Well, okay. Heaps of kangaroos.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was intense.
That was intense. Yeah,
so intense.
Because apparently in Australia, when it's really cold, a bit of heat retains in the asphalt, and so the kangaroos will go and just like huddle together in the middle of the road because it's a little warmer. And so you come up over these rises, and there's like 30 kangaroos in the road, and they all run 30 different directions, and you're like, shit.
The wallabies are even worse.
And then you got to dodge the roadkill that's been left by the last truck.
And also, tons of roadkill. Yeah, the trucks are like covered in like gore because they have these blue bars on them, and they're just tanking wallabies and kangaroos all night.
Right. So
it's like it's a kind of a nightmare for a kangaroo lover, right? Like I was on the phone with my daughter, and she's like, "Oh, Daddy, like you seen some kangaroos?" And it's like, yeah,
a lot more kangaroo than you wanted to.
Here's Skippy.
Yeah, mostly just mutilated and mauled kangaroos.
All right, so 2 more animals you saw.
All right, yeah, kangaroos, camels in India was really cool. Monkeys, tons of monkeys in the jungly sections in Malaysia was really cool. We'll go with those 3, but
all right.
yeah, I probably list 100.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Name 3 favorite countries you visited.
Oh, I think Slovenia right off the top.
Really?
Going through Slovenia, we were all just like, where are we? This is unbelievable.
You're in the
The
Julian
roads are like
Alps.
super twisty. They call it like the Switzerland of Eastern Europe because it's like really wealthy and it's beautiful and mountainous and very historic. It's an ancient country, but it wasn't bombed heavily during the war, so everything's in really great shape. So you're riding like the best roads you've ever ridden in your life. Beautiful moonlit night, and every 5 minutes you drop into these little hamlets that are like architecturally gorgeous, and there's a cute little inn and restaurant that's like bumping. Everyone in the town is there eating great food and listening to music, and it just had a really, really great vibe.
So you get to Kranjska Gora? Do you remember if you were in Kranjska Gora? I don't know. That's one of our home.
He doesn't remember.
He doesn't remember
half
anything.
The trip.
No, it's such a wonderful and Balkan barbecue and the Balkan people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's gosh, I it's the one place where people say like, where do you want to go back to? That's kind of the spot that's in the top of my mind. India would be right there too. It's just the most so beautiful. People are so beautiful. The color is so beautiful. The food is so awesome. Like everything's just like turned up to 11, and I loved it there. So let's go to Slovenia, India, and number 3 is hard because then you got to like kick out a bunch of other people. But who are we gonna choose for number 3? Let's go Malaysia. I'll go Malaysia.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, great weather, super affordable. Everyone from Singapore goes to Malaysia to have a good time, basically.
Right.
Because Singapore is a gorgeous, interesting city, very modern, but like it's illegal to chew gum.
Yeah.
They're a little tight.
They're very tight, and it's the cleanest, safest city I think I've ever been to in my life. It's awesome.
Yep.
But all the people just like cross to Johor Bahru and like let loose. And it means that Malaysia is an affordable and super fun place to be. Everyone's loose there. So yeah, I'll put Malaysia number 3.
Great.
Great.
All right, next one.
Name 3 things you'd like to do different with what you know now.
Oh yeah, okay. I think we've had this conversation a few times between the 3 of us. I think there's another like day at least in this record. I think you could probably set a 15 something if you did everything just so. So if I were trying to crack my own record, I would never set foot in a hotel or motel. It kill way too much time because you check in and then there's like power and a shower, so you're gonna plug your shit in and you're gonna bathe, and then you got to kind of check out and pack all that stuff back up again. So even if you sleep for like, or even if you have a 3-hour break, you're probably only going to sleep 2 because of that like buffer time on either side. And that killed a lot of hours for us. So if I were doing it again, I would just like bivvy on the side of the road, because you sleep great. When you've been riding for 40 hours, you're gonna like pass out. So if I'm in my helmet and I have my bivvy bag on and I just lay down, that's like the most comfortable thing in the world at that moment, because you're warm enough, and helmets are really soft on the inside. They hold your head from all places equally, and you don't feel any pebbles or anything because they're hard on the outside. So like super comfortable. So okay, no hotel. It's just like bivvy bag on the side of the road. What else would I do differently? I'd eat differently in America and Australia. I made myself like really sick because the food in America is like really tempting. Like kind of roadside food, right? Like, cause you don't have time to like go anywhere, and it's all like great looking, like fried stuff and barbecue. And I love that. But you eat it for like 3 straight days and you start to feel like garbage. So I'd probably be a little bit more careful in America and Australia. Australia's the same. It's like great meat pies, and I love a meat pie, but after 12 of them, you're starting to feel
it's just too many sausage rolls.
I do more like water and nuts in those places. You can cut loose everywhere else. Like in Europe, the service stations have like cured meats and like nice pastas, and in India you can pull like 3 feet off the road, and they're called dabas. Is like they're cooking like stuff all the time. It's like the best Indian food you've ever had right there. Malaysia, same thing, noodles. So great food the whole way around, but America and Australia, I'd be a little more careful. And then the other thing I would do is
more clean underwear.
No, the 7 were good.
Socks?
I was okay with the 7.
Towels?
I would probably bring a little bit warmer stuff for Australia because
Oh, that was crazy, dude.
I didn't know it got cold in
Yeah, it was
Australia
windy.
Yeah,
at
like
all.
that cold, yeah.
Not
High
that
desert,
cold.
man. High desert is really cold.
it's really cold. And as part of the challenge of the circumnavigation, when you do it in a clean shot, is that you got to cross Alaska and India and Australia like a few days after each other. And so the snow needs to be like either just melted or not quite arrived in Alaska for it to not be like catastrophically hot in Miami, for example. But then you have the same problem in Australia. It's kind of a shoulder season and it's their spring and it's really cold. So it's unavoidable. You're going to be really hot. You're going to be really cold. But I should have packed warmer stuff for Australia. The way we did it, because we had just these 2 bikes, we couldn't check anything, right? Because like you have to like get right on the plane and get right off again. So we all had 1 saddlebag to pack in. And then we had camera gear in the 4th saddlebag and then the camera gear in the top case. And so that meant it was very little stuff, and we had not great layer wear for Australia. So I'd have just like found a way to
that
maybe
looked
heating gear. That's pretty thin.
miserable.
Oh, it was way colder than Alaska. Like the coldest we were was in Australia by far. It was it was like minus 10 or so, but windy. Like the Nullarbor is really windy.
Yeah, because it's so dry.
It's so dry.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where like we were way too cold to ride. We were way too tired to ride, but we couldn't do anything but ride. And it wasn't because we were tough and trying to break the record. It was because we were in the middle of nowhere and it was blowing 100 kph anyway.
Yeah.
So to be off the bike, you're in 100 kph minus 10 wind. You might as well be on the bike and be in 100 kph minus 10 wind, but at least have heated grips and like an engine to cuddle this. So we kind of kept pushing just to get somewhere safe where we could like be warm and sleep, which ended up being like a gas station and kind of like sweet talk guy and be like, hey, can we lay down in your back room for an hour? So yeah, we were pretty ill prepared for Australia. And it shows in the movie. We look pretty miserable for a good chunk of that.
All right. Well, this final one is for 10,000 points. Let's see if you can get this one right.
So it takes a village to do these things, of course. So name 3, you can do more if you want, sponsors that you'd like to plug.
Yeah, man.
Oh, 3 sponsors. Yeah, okay. Gosh, I don't even have to use them up. It's 360. It was the only sponsor we had for the film. They kicked us some money and we used their cameras, which we would have needed anyway, because you want like a 360 camera plugging into your bike on loop mode the whole way. And that way, if you crash into something, you hit the button and you have it, no matter what angle it was coming from. So I'll plug them. Great 360 cameras, affordable, durable. Like we were stuck in Bangkok traffic at like 40 Celsius for hours because we landed at Bangkok like in the middle of rush hour, and that was a rough time getting out of there. And the cameras never cook themselves down. Like it's a black camera in the sun in 40 degrees that's charging and rolling from 2 big lenses on like a big 1.2 inch sensor, and it managed to sink all that heat, which is pretty cool. So go into 360. But aside from that, we just kind of footed the bill for this.
Well,
Ducati.
I've been making for this trip for 10 years.
Yeah. Was Ducati a sponsor?
No, not in the sense of like giving us money.
No, but they were a big part of helping you make this happen, yeah?
Yeah, they provided the bikes. So obviously like it's massive. And I can say lots of positive things about Ducati, but they never wanted anything from this project. For them, they're just stoked for their bikes to be the ones that the record maybe gets set on, which is pretty cool. They're as hilariously Italian as you would hope. Like from day one, they were like, yes, it's an A, so we understand. And they wanted to put like tire warmers on our bikes. It just, they were into the racing aspect of it right away.
They're passionate people.
Nice. Any other plugs? Because I know you guys were using Cardos. Was there anything else that you thought was really beneficial to the trip?
Yeah, happy to talk about stuff that works well. The Cardos worked great. Never had any problems with those. My big yellow suit, which is like a construction company called Ocunomics. They make like huge yellow fluorescent suits for guys who have to like stand in the snow all day holding like stop sign or something. And they're rad. It's like the warmest thing in the world. It's what Gore-Tex used to be, which is like expanded polytetrafluoroethylene, which is like really, really waterproof. And they don't use it anymore because it's not very environmentally friendly to make. It's one of those things that makes chemical residue that just never disappears from the water table.
It's a forever chemical, yeah.
Forever chemical. So you can decide what you want about that. But if you decide that you're okay with it, it's super, super waterproof. And it's like way cheaper than Gore-Tex currently is. You can get one of these full ones.
Well, and Gore-Tex, I mean, it dissipates through the years. This is a forever chemical. Does that mean your children have flippers, but you won't get wet?
Pretty much that. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm
totally dry.
I'm good with that.
And not to be gentle on Gore-Tex because they're responsible for making most of this stuff. They did it that way for.
Right. It became mostly a marketing play after a while. The best place to get, at least as far as I'm concerned, was it comes to rain gear and whatnot. You go industry. You don't go for motorcycle industry. You go for people who are working on oil rigs and people who are mining and working outside. So I buy a lot of Engelbert Strauss stuff in Germany because if you work outside. But anyway, you got the same theory.
Well,
totally. Yeah. It's I think what Gore-Tex is great at is the certification system. So like if you want to make a Gore-Tex thing, you got to pay them a bunch of money, and that lets you call it Gore-Tex. And they actually stipulate you have to put like these big Gore-Tex badges and tags on it, which is why it's so prevalent. But they ensure that if it's going to be a Gore-Tex garment, they test it for like seam strength and the taping and things like this, which ensures that a waterproof garment, while it might be waterproof when it's new, will probably be waterproof when it's like 10 years old because those things tend to wear. And Gore-Tex is pretty rigid on that kind of thing. So it has value, but they're not making anything that is special. Yeah. Like everyone else can make the same membranes that Gore-Tex can, and they can do it way, way cheaper if they don't put the Gore-Tex.
And business management wise, they have some very clever ideas that we learned in business school. So hats off to Gore-Tex.
So
yeah, a $1 billion company.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk real quick about the film because that's why you're promoting this film. This is kind of a departure from what you usually do. You usually do. You guys have been doing on your channel a lot more of these little small things. I like how to clean a carburetor, like a little quick video, you've been doing, but your videos were not very long. And this is a full length film. This is a whole new thing for you.
Yeah, it is.
So tell us about how you came to do this and what the plan is with it.
Yeah, for sure. For me, it was I just wanted to do like a big trip while I could call it work, and kind of pay for it. So for me, it was just fun. I just wanted to go around the world and make a cool product.
In fact, didn't you say in it that the reason you planned to do this is because this was how much time your wife will let you go away?
Yeah, totally. I've got little kids, right? So like, I'm not taking off for 3 months, So if I'm going to go around the world, I'm going to have to do it freaking fast.
Well, that part where you're talking to your daughters, that was really cool.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I wanted to do this because I thought it'd be a super fun ride and a really fun challenge to make something feature length. Like you say, Fortnite has never done this before. Mm-hmm. You're dealing with like an hour and a half. Which lets you do more things to the audience. Like in a 7-minute YouTube video, you kind of have to provide what people expect from the video or they're going to click it and leave because there's 12 other videos sitting in their sidebar and you can't really like force that viewer to watch something that might not be what they were expecting because you'll just lose them. But movies let you play around with things a little bit more. So it was a fun challenge. The plan for the movie is on December 22nd, we have a premiere in Vancouver here at the Rio. So, fancy dress, red carpet,
right on.
which would be super rad. And then, if anyone's in Vancouver on December 22nd, let me know. Yes, and then on the 27th, it'll be like the streaming release. So I can get you a link. and you can click it and pay a few bucks and like rent the movie.
How does one get tickets to the release party, I wonder? I'm feeling very poor today.
It's not very expensive. For you, it's free. I'll give you.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
For
See if I
anyone
could drag my wife up there. That'd be great. I've got lots of Canadian friends and Canadian clients.
Who wants to go to Canada with me?
I'd fly to Canada for that.
You want to go?
What date is it?
22nd.
22nd.
December 20th.
So it's close to Christmas.
I have nothing else to do.
I'll send you an email. Ryan. Let me
nothing
look
else
into
to do. Get me out of Dodge. Put me on a plane.
You guys should come. It's going to be awesome.
I can drive up.
I'd wear my kilt.
Bagel.
I'm in Oregon. It's not that far to drive.
That's right, baby.
Yeah. Says the guy with these cool Vespas behind him. I could have guessed that you were in Oregon.
No, to me, it is a big, like I said, a departure from what you've been doing. And this is a big achievement. Not just what you did, but making the film, which is a huge achievement as well. And to be there just to kind of like applaud and like congratulate you would be really cool.
No, it's a fellow genius writer. We need to show up.
Well, the other thing I liked about the format, I don't know who's responsible for it, was the soundtrack. The music you had going and all that. That was great.
Yeah, that was Edwin. And by the way, guys, thank you very much for sitting through a rough cut. So like the film that all these guys watched, it's basically picture locks, but has no like color, sound design, graphics. The music tracks will stay the same, but they'll actually be like placed and mixed slightly differently. So it all like flows. So thank you very much for sitting through it. That was still pretty awkward in places. But Edwin, the filmmaker, is also responsible for most of the soundtrack of the film. We have a bit of original music in a few places actually, like when we got to that bar in Montana, that band.
Oh, right. That looked like such a fun moment.
Okay, karaoke
cool
party
bar.
after.
Yeah, such a cool bar. And when we actually walked in there, it was the first night. And the first thing I hear, we went to this bar because it was the only place that was serving food that late. We walk in and the first thing we hear is like, "You fucking Canadian." And it was this guy at the bar who used to work at Revzilla. And so we knew who we were. And he was like, "What are you guys doing down here?" We were like, "Oh, we're like going around the world." And it was the first night. Like it just got started. That was Jordan, who ended up being the guy who was like asking all these questions about what we were doing, which turned out really great because we have this like real conversation with this like half drunk Montana dude that ended up like expositing a bunch of the information we wanted to convey to the viewer at that point in the film. So anyway, it was rad, and there was a great like band in there that was playing like an old kind of like bluegrass.
Nice.
I don't know if you're able to confirm or deny, but I thought I recognized one of the soundtracks in there. Is it possible it was the drum solo from the movie Whiplash?
Oh, that's interesting.
Because in that movie when he's playing, it's just like and it's building this tension.
Was that the real chaotic scene?
And there was this chaotic scene
I remember that.
And that drum going. And I was like, is that from Whiplash? Because I can feel that tension.
It definitely helped tell the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suspect it's not because we wouldn't have the rights to it. And you get in trouble for that. But the vibe is exactly that. Because it was like this Turkish border scene where everything went wrong and we wanted something that was like a bit chaotic and changing tempo and matched the general vibe we had at that point. And so
nice. So you said it's going to be streaming, so people will be able to see this. And you're going to be promoting it all over like this, I assume. And you'll
exactly
send us a link when it's ready to share.
I'll send you a link. Yeah, if you can attach it to something that people can find, then you'll be able to click it and pay a couple bucks and watch the movie.
Cool. Well, we've kept you about an hour, so I just want to give you a last chance. Is there any last tidbits or stories you want to share we haven't covered yet?
I don't think so. I think you guys, as always, prepared a beautiful podcast. With excellent questions that hit anything I would want to talk about anyway. So, I would just say that it's been a treat as always, and thanks very much for having me on because this is the sequel you guys do, and we have favorite gear, so I really appreciate it. And let me know if you're coming to Vancouver because I'll set aside some tickets for you. We're cautiously optimistic that
it's Vancouver, Washington, or Vancouver, Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We've got to cross the border.
Yeah,
you have to cross the border. Yeah,
that's all right. I got global entry. They won't.
Well, I'll take a look at that. And I would just say, if you do another thing like this, I would just say more underwear shots. I enjoyed those.
It's enough. Yeah, I'll throw more in there. Well, we got about 12 hours of underwear shots that were in the final edit. So if you want them, let me know. I'll drop box.
Should check into Pornhub, see if they want to take some of that stuff.
Liza will definitely pay for some postage, I think.
Hey, there's enough for a whole new movie there.
I'm gonna start singing that song.
Part 2.
Dance.
Stop. No, thank you very much for coming on and sharing, and for sharing that movie. Like I said, I really did enjoy it for all the reasons I said. That it's just, I mean, we can't get enough motorcycle content, and this thing was just. It was real. It was authentic. It took you on that ride with you. It wasn't just presented like a lot of the videos. It was, you took us on the journey.
And I just want to say, as a long distance rider to another long distance rider, well done. I noticed in your video the one about how my Ducati out Germans BMW from July, when you did the ride, you hinted at this, and I picked that up. I've been waiting to see this, and I am so stoked to finally see the final product once that comes out. A fantastic job, Ryan.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much. It's means a lot coming from you, and it was absolutely our treat to get to do it. You know, it was a ride of a lifetime. I think we'd all do it again.
Well, just a reminder to everyone: if you're not already watching Fortnine videos, that you guys have really branched out and are just doing so much different stuff now. Make sure you're checking. It's the best motorcycle YouTube channel. Hands down, especially because you guys, we talked to you a little bit about it before, how you're diversifying and doing different things, not just explaining things, but now, I mean, you have different people behind the camera and you're able to do so much more. It's a little empire, film empire now.
Yeah. I'm always guaranteed a good laugh and education at the same time. I love it.
I appreciate that. That's what we're going for. Yeah, we just want to make stuff that's a good time for people. Because motorcycles are fun and funny and silly, and we have a blast riding them. So we just try to capture a little bit of that. So thanks very much for saying that.
Thanks, Ryan.
Great. Well, we'll let you go. Thanks again for coming on, and we will as soon as we get that the film link, we will share it with everyone. But I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to take a look about coming to Vancouver. I think that would be great. Great to support.
That would be awesome.
Oh my God, best Christmas party ever.
I would love that. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And we'll probably throw a. I don't know.
I'll throw a few drinks around. I've got no problem with that.
We'll throw a bit of an after party.
Karaoke is a must.
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. Thank you guys very much. Is this one of those podcasts, by the way, where I actually just hit the leave button?
Yeah, just shut your computer. You're gone. We're going to read
Go
emails
say hello to your
now.
kids. Pet your bike.
Exactly.
Just hit the button, do the French leave.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
Put some pants on.
All right.
Thanks
See ya.
very much, guys. Pleasure as always.
Take care, Ryan.
Cheers.
Bye, Ryan.
Cheers.
All right. We got time for some emails, and we've gone for 2 weeks. So we got just a few to do. I want to start with our good friend Jason in Seattle, also known as Six Bike Garage. Kat, guess how many bikes he has?
6.
Nope, you're incorrect. All right.
Well, then he's lying. He's lying. He's a liar.
He says, hey, Misfits, another update from Seattle. At the end of this month and through April, the Museum of History and Industry, also known as MOHI, in Seattle is featuring an exhibit called Kickstands Up, 125 years of motorcycling in the Pacific Northwest.
Ooh.
And I, for one, am very much looking forward to checking it out. The museum has a number of events being planned around the exhibit, including a club day where they're trying to get folks from the many motorcycle clubs in the area to ride out, a woman riders forum, and a champions day, to name a few. Would love it if any misfits can make it up for any of it, and would be happy to connect you to the Vintage Motorcycle Enthusiast Club historians who've been working tirelessly with MOHI to put this together. I recently learned the museum will be granting VME members free admission. So if you visit the museum a couple times during the exhibit, it's like getting your membership dues for free. Speaking of dues, I just became a supporter of the podcast.
Yoo-hoo.
Hey! Yay! Thank you. I had never looked at the Patreon page because I am a humble, poor son of a bitch with a cartoon wallet where moths fly out when you open it. However, when I finally did look at the Give Us Money tab, I realized it wasn't as much as I thought it would be to join. Wish I could join at the Ask Miss Emma level, but not currently an option. Maybe one day. That's okay, Jason. We appreciate anything you're willing to give. In other news, I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to investigate an estate with many abandoned motorcycles on Friday. I don't have the time, space, or money to take on any more projects, but I happen to know there's a very crusty 1966 Suzuki Hustler.
Huh.
Okay.
I've never heard of that one. AKA
So
the Super 6, AKA the X6, AKA the T20 on the premises. This is a 250cc two-stroke
250.
and was the first production motorcycle with a 6-speed gearbox. 1966.
Wow.
I know. It says, as I understand it, the prototypes did quite well at the Isle of Man. I don't know all the history, but enough to have me searching the couch cushions to see if I can bring a Super 6 home to the 6-bike garage. Would love it if Miss Emma can share any thoughts or opinions about this model. We will have to ask Miss Emma when she's back, but I would say, ooh, it's a lovely bike.
It's a Suzuki,
Especially-
darling.
It's a Suzuki. There you go. All right, John, you have one there to share?
I do. This is from our good friend, Numbnuts, Matt.
Hey,
No
Matt.
nuts.
In the spirit of the holiday, here's a few things for which I'm thankful.
Oh,
The recycle garage and the opportunities to wrench on my bike in a fun and helpful atmosphere. During my last visit, I finished a DUI luggage rack project for my VFR 800.
A DUI luggage rack?
yeah.
Oh, that is Matt Numbnuts. You
Yeah.
know that, right? DIY.
DUI or DUI?
DIY. Getting to ride my first electric motorcycle and an absolutely bonkers one at that. Tons of fun riding the Verge bike in around beautiful Santa Clara Beast Mode. Yeah,
Oh, right.
the Beast Mode was great on that bike. The gear exchange. Thanks to this awesome resource, I've been able to not only upgrade and expand my gear, but also the gear necessary to get my son riding.
Yeah.
The excellent weekly news and entertainment that is the Motorcycles and Misfits podcast.
Aw.
Last but not least, the Misfits themselves for continuing to make these experiences and opportunities available to the broader motorcycling community. This is just a small sample of the awesome things you guys have done for one person, and I'm glad there are at least 3 other podcast listeners and garage visitors who feel the same gratitude, maybe more. Happy Thanksgiving, and enjoy your stuffing, you jive turkeys. Numbnuts Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Kat, are you able to read that, or are your old man eyes not good
I'm at a
enough to focus?
1.5 now. 1.5.
All right,
I'm
then hand
using
it to the other old man who's
All right,
got glasses
I
on.
brought glasses.
because I've got the answers
See,
for this guy.
Jim's brings his librarian
I'm prepared.
glasses. I know.
So I have to take my glasses off.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, just because you're special.
Because I'm a nerd.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
nearsighted.
All right, I'm farsighted.
So this one is from Cole Patton.
Hey, Cole.
Hey, Cole.
Hey, Cole.
So Cole writes, "Hey, Misfits, this is Cole from Colorado. I'm writing to ask a question as someone who's looking to get into riding motorcycles for the first time.
Okay.
I've taken an MSF course and have a motorcycle endorsement on my license.
Great.
Now I'm looking into getting my first bike over the winter.
Great.
What would you guys recommend as a good beginner-friendly bike? Most of the riding I envision myself doing would be commuting to work, driving around the back roads, so like 35 to 45 miles per, traveling on the highways, 65.
Mhm.
And because I live in a mountainous area, I'd be going up and down the mountain passes on occasion.
Mhm.
In my MSF course, we rode these CSC SG 250 motorcycles that I know are very inexpensive to purchase.
Don't get that.
No.
Look quite nice and were a blast to ride. I've entertained purchasing one of these to get my toe in the door. No, we're all
that's a
shaking
no.
our
Hard
heads
no.
at that one.
Hard no.
Hard pass. To get my toe in the door and become confident with riding. However, I don't think they would be up to going up mountain passes nor highway speeds for any easy to work on or highway speeds for an extended time. I'm hoping you guys will have a handful of recommendations that won't break the bank, are relatively easy to work on yourself and maintain, and would be up for adventures I plan on having on it. Any advice you could offer would be great, as I'm a newbie.
Mm-hmm.
Recently discovered your podcast, and I love it. You all are a hoot.
Oh, thanks.
You can pick up a very nice KLR for about $2,000 right now.
Yeah,
I'm immediately thinking, how tall is he? Because that's
true.
That does change things.
I'll throw out two that I think are brilliant. The first is a Nighthawk 250. You can pick them up for cheap. You
Not
can
in the
drop
freeway,
them.
No.
No, I disagree. You can go 70
Really?
miles an hour, 65, 70, no problem. And again, you're only going to have this bike for 6 months to a year. Regardless of what adventures you think you're going to have, you're going to have this bike for 6 months to a year. Your first bike is all muscle memory, shifting, clutch, shifting, turning your head. Right. So it'll do highway speeds, no problem. But I think a better choice, it's another 250, but a 250 dual sport.
Yeah.
It's even that more durable.
Right.
It's that much easier to do an oil change on. It's simple to understand. And again, you can drop it and pick it back up.
I mean,
Or a
Sophia that
CRF
comes.
300 or a KLX 300 maybe?
Sophia has that
250 or
KLX
300.
250. It's a great little bike.
Yeah.
for
So
her.
those are my two.
All right. I'm going to say, I'm going to say
someone-
XRs.
As someone
epic.
who has ridden the 250 in Colorado, it will do it, but it's really not adequate for that altitude. You especially if you have a lot of altitude changes where you're going up and down.
Well, it's fuel injection, though.
Well, yeah, that's what I was also going to say is that you want a fuel injected bike, not a bike that's carbureted, because if you have to go more than 2,000 feet in altitude change, you're going to be pushing the limits of the jets, and you may need to rejet depending on where you're riding, and that's a real pain in the butt. So,
Well, at
going up fuel
altitude, you're
injection-
just going to have less horsepower anyway.
Well, right,
So-
but you also don't want it to run too lean if you have a carburetor. That's another added layer to this, because if you're not somebody who is mechanically inclined in the first place and you want to get into motorcycling, having a bike that you're going to need to fiddle with a carburetor going up in altitudes is going to be prohibitive for you to ride. So you want something that's going to be easy. You want something that's fuel injected, bigger than 250. 300 is better, but you're probably going to want something, I would think, at least 400 or 500 cc's for that altitude. Those are my thoughts.
Right. But I'm going to side with Jim here because what he was asking is, what is my second bike going to be? And what Jim's point, and he's one of the few people who's taken that advice, and I really appreciate it. He took that advice. Because when Jim asked the same question, I'm like, get a 250. This is your 6-month bike. You're not ready for your forever bike. You're looking at your 6-month bike. Get a 250 so you can train your brain to be a rider, not in a cage. And you're going to be riding around close to home, on the streets, a little on the freeway, a little on the mountain, a little. Just get that out of the way. Then you're going to know if you want a cruiser, or if you want a sport bike, or if you want something like a V-Strom, or whatever. Start with any small bike,
and you likely won't lose money on it.
And it is not your forever bike.
Yeah.
But also another thought: if you get a 250 dirt bike, that will give you the easiness to start with, especially if it's fuel injected. It'll give you an easy bike to start with. That's not going to be too much power for you to deal with right off the bat. You can work your way past that pretty quickly. But if you hold on to it, then you'll still have a dirt bike you can go up, tool around on the dirt, and just have fun with too. So you don't even need to sell.
Colorado, you have so many great opportunities to go dirt bike riding. You would really be selling yourself short if you got something that was straight.
Like that Honda CRF 300 or something along those lines.
Yeah,
It's fuel injected, lightweight.
Right, make your first bike a dirt bike that will end up being a keeper, and then you graduate to a second bike that's your bigger road bike that you'll take out on longer trips.
But it kind of goes back to the conversation we had at the beginning of the episode about give yourself the easier bike to ride, and it gives you more opportunities to excel as a rider. And that's why we recommend a smaller bike. And just remember, that's your 6-month bike.
I've just got back from there a couple of months ago. I know exactly the roads he's after. I know the little mountain towns that are great back roads. So you're looking at probably a 450 single used, probably Japanese manufacturer, easy to repair. Don't get any heavy cowlings.
Name it. What's a 450
DRZ
single?
would be the only one.
Okay,
That's, well,
DRZ,
400,
DRZ, or maybe it's an old XLR or an old XR that's been street legaled, something like that.
I mean, that's a little rare.
Yamaha XT. Just we're looking at the 450, 500 range. Something you could kick it over in the middle of the parking lot, and it doesn't matter. It's fallen, and you can pick it right back up. It can't be too heavy, and then you can ride it through the tiny little trails. Then you can get out and brop and get to work.
I'm going rogue.
Yeah.
Ibex.
No,
Ibex.
No, buy a $2,500 Sportster.
there you go.
Yeah, I don't know how tall
disagree
this
with that.
guy is.
It's heavy,
Or that. Or that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boom. But just remember, whatever your first bike is, it's not your forever bike.
So
Correct.
And that's what we try and change people's perception.
Yeah, a little 883 Sportster would be great.
Do not buy a Ducati for Scott of the Gate.
No.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be your forever bike. It could be, but it doesn't have to be.
Because
Yeah.
you're still riding your first bike.
So
I am still
I
riding
know.
my first bike.
You're weird,
You're
Bagel.
special, Bagel.
I know.
Well, yes, that's a given.
All right. Bagel, you have an email there to read?
I do. I have an email here from Aussie Adrian.
Hey, Adrian. Watch out
Right.
for kangaroos, apparently.
Right.
Good
Seriously,
Lord.
they're like
Blimey.
little assassins.
Lord have mercy.
It's hi again from down under.
Oh,
Just
right.
another quick update for Emma, Jim, and fellow Suzuki pervs.
Ah,
Suzuki
Yeah.
Pan, guilty as
we are
charged.
Legion.
Following on from your last podcast, in Australia, we actually are getting the 2026 model original version of the SV650.
wow.
Nice.
Cool.
It continues to be updated, maybe just bold new graphics, haha, and will be sold in certain countries next year, one of which is Australia.
Hmm.
It's
He's actually doing-
Australian
He's doing that
right-of-way
accent just
price.
right, isn't he?
It's Australian right-of-way price, which includes radio and taxes, is Australian dollars 11,490, only 7,500 USD.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a
Yeah.
great price.
That's a lot of platypus.
Good on you, Mike.
Absolute bargain. Very tempting, even although my mantra of you can never have enough surfboards and motorcycles has previously contributed to a marriage breakdown.
Oh, poor
Oh.
Diddums.
D-1.
Yep, he didn't do it.
I'm prepared to challenge any of the D- mathematical equations that the Misfits listeners come up with. Love you all. Love your content. Appreciate your insights and keep up the great work. Aussie Adrian.
So
Cheers.
Well, when you
yeah.
throw surfboards
Cheers,
into
Mike.
the equation, it becomes like trigonometry or something. That's a
I
whole
know.
other thing, or
Yeah.
surfboards.
I don't.
So Suzuki seems to have invested in that 650. They have that new crossover model that's Euro 5 compliant.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're going to keep that 650 going, even though they're promoting that 800 twin and every other platform. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, thanks. We'll
Yeah.
have to keep an eye out for that. Speaking of thanks, this is a time where I could say thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys are the best. But also, I'm going to take an opportunity to say thanks to everyone sitting in this room and
Yeah.
showing up every week and doing this with me. I mean, this is the week of
We're
Thanksgiving.
glad you can make time for us this week.
So, and I'll just say,
Yeah.
do you guys want to share any thanks yourself? This is your opportunity.
Thanks, Liza, for introducing me to writing.
You're
I wouldn't be
welcome.
going to Jawbone Canyon on the 19th of December if anybody wants to go without you, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Liza, for getting us geared up to go to Ireland 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, you
When
don't have to thank me, but yes.
right after. Well, I said somebody told the dog up at
Oh, right.
Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, you need to go check out Recycle Garage. So I came here right on my 64th birthday.
Is that where you just kind of it seems like you've just kind of faded in.
Mhm.
It's like you're just
kind of wormed my way
Yeah, I
in.
know. Is that where you
like
came
a
from?
termite. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you do,
You helped us get over the hump and get ready for that trip,
Oh.
which,
well,
and-
everyone who donated gear did, not me.
yeah.
I just point to the closet and say, "There you go." Nice. Anyone else want to?
Yeah, I'm genuinely thankful for this community. I know I joked about that at the beginning.
Mhm.
Because of this community, I've ridden all around the world. I've been out in the desert with Jim. I've learned how to be a much better mechanic, a much better person. And this community helped me through some rough times. So I'm really thankful for this group.
Yeah.
Well, I am the boy named Cat. All right. So you can imagine that's not easy growing up with that name. So yeah, I know you could see the tears will start flowing. This is the motorcycle community is one place where I'm welcome. I want to thank my captains, Ricky, and David Noya, who are busy doing other jobs right now, but also recovering from injuries. Marcel, who runs Racing School Europe. We really miss him. We want him back. He's getting, he's healing up. And also to Eliza for making me go to the Manx TT and see the home where Olaf the Red actually commanded rain. So
look for me on the TT network when I'm there next summer.
I'll tell you where to go have a beer.
By the way, I don't know. I've told some of you, and we'll get to you, Bagel. There's been big announcements about for the first time in 100 years, all women are going to lead the TT Legacy Lap. And the amount of men who are claiming discrimination is cracking me up.
I'm just going to cheer as you go past Kregneba.
All right, Bagel, you want to finish this out?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, and correct me on my dates here, but I think this podcast has now been going for over 12 years, right?
Oh, no, longer than that.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thanks to everyone who has helped, keep this podcast going for so long. And I know it's coming up on 11 years since I've been here.
Wow.
And I'm grateful for all of the ways that just being a part of Podcasts in the Garage has opened my eyes to more of the motorcycle world and to people who are out there and hearing so many amazing stories of people's journeys through motorcycling and learning about just learning about everything to do with motorcycling that has come with this. And having a chance to be able to share, the scooter's perspective as well. It's been an awesome journey just for me personally, being involved with this with the podcast in the garage for all this time. So I'm grateful for that, and I want to say thanks to all of you who've made this such a weird and wonderful success, and to be able to share so much with the world about these great little stories that we come across. It's a real joy and a real gem to have this opportunity, I think, to let just kind of share the wonderful experience that motorcycling is with the world.
Nice. Yeah. Well, there you go. Thanks all around. Thank you everyone for listening. I think it's time to get out of here. Don't forget to watch F9 Fortnine videos.
Ooh,
we love them.
Yep.
Thanks everyone. This is Liza.
Stumpy John.
Meow.
It's Neil.
Naked Jim, son.
Bagel.
And we are out of here.
Cool.
Cool.